Okay. Think we're live? I think we're live. I think we're actually live this time. Evening, everyone. Hi. How you doing? Welcome back to Hogwarts Legacy. I'm Professor McCoy. Hopefully this time we are actually live, as opposed to last time when we started off. Took me a little while to actually connect, but we'll see. Anyway, hello, good evening. Blessed Advent. All right, let's jump back into things as we begin. Let's see.
Does it get any more cozy than Hogsmeade?
Honestly, no. I talked about this last time, but I think it was before the stream actually went live. That no, I can't get enough of the whimsicality of the design of Hogsmeade, the visual design, basically the art direction of Hogsmeade. It's just so delightfully whimsical. And that actually even goes for I haven't actually been. I really should, but I haven't been to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter in Universal Studios. I ought to. One of these days, maybe it'll be a while. One of these days, we ought to make a trip out of that. In small part, because first of all, I just kind of love the world and the whimsy of it all, and I'll probably eventually we'll introduce the kids to it too. It'll make a good story to read together, kind of thing. But that's one part of it. But the other part is also really neat that my dad actually got to work on designing a good bit, not too terribly much, but bits and pieces all around it. Yeah. So let's go into the headmaster's office. We'll do that first. That is like I said, if I recall, this is a rather long quest. I was actually thinking about last time. Making the thumbnail having to do with this quest, but then I realized it's Advent, and so I already had a plan for. Oh, come on! I have to cross the cold river. I already had a plan for Advent thumbnails, and you can guess what the next few are going to be. They are, in fact, all going to be nicely thematic. Anyway, though, yeah, it's Yeah, my dad got actually to work on a good deal of the design of a lot of the little minutia stuff. He's a architect and such. He designs like furniture pieces and things like that for mostly for either high-end residences or commercial areas. So he a long while ago he designed a bunch of the AMC theaters, that kind of stuff. So the sort of design principles in the AMC theaters were in large part his doing, and he got to contribute to a good bit of the Wizarding World of Harry Potter at Universal Studios. So it'd be neat to see.
I haven't
actually
expect
looked.
to be as lucky here as you were in Crossed Wands. Speaking of which,
Well.
care to play a match?
I already won once, so let's go.
Of course, Charlotte.
Then may
Beat
the
you in
best
Cross
summoner
Wands.
win.
Rather egotistical for Hufflepuff. Jeez, these oh man, this is complicated. Oh my god! Oh, they really bounce, don't they? Man. Oh man, this is a rough one. Okay, ready? Let's give this a shot, shall we?
Accio.
Yeah, there we go. Oh!
Sting me with a billywig.
Oh, that was really close. Oh man. Oh, you nudged the other one in. Oh,
Precisely as planned.
okay. All right. I'll grant you that. That was pretty good. This is gonna be more challenging because I don't have that nice straight shot here. I really risk pulling hers into better scoring areas, but let me give it a shot. Let's see. Oh.
Such
Okay, well, we're tied.
Finesse.
Oh, you,
Accio.
ma'am. Oh, you're not gonna. No, don't you dare.
Precisely as planned.
Oh. I don't think I can win this. I can. If I'm really mean, I can win it. Oh, no, I lost it. Okay.
Such grace. Finesse. Didn't I say I adore competition?
I kept her score the same. Darn it. Okay, well. Rematch. Rematch.
Hard luck. Care for another round?
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Getting the hang of it,
Don't
okay?
count
I'm
me out
getting...
yet.
I'm
That's the
having to get the hang of it.
spirit.
That's all. I'm gonna go for it. Now, I'm wondering if she does the same strategy or if she does something different this time. Oh. Fascinating. Okay, okay. I'm gonna do this one first, and I'm gonna bring it over here.
Accio.
There we go. That's not bad. Ooh, is that gonna pull it in? Nah, not quite. Okay.
Nice technique. Accio.
Thinking it might pull it into the 50, but it doesn't look like it. Can I depulso hers out?
Precisely as planned.
Okay, if I pull this one right down the center between hers, I think I get a good shot of getting it into the 50 zone. There. Ooh, ooh. Danger.
Sting me with a billywig. I'll never top that.
Okay.
Accio.
Yeah, alright, here we go. Oh, don't you dare. Don't you dare. Don't do it.
Precisely as planned.
Okay. Move your head. I can't see. Okay,
Accio.
let's try this again. Oh, no.
Such grace. Finesse.
Darn it.
Hard luck. Care for another round?
Absolutely. Don't count me out yet.
That's the spirit.
There's gonna be another one of those puzzles. Like the heckin' puzzle room last week that we were doing for an hour and 20 minutes or something.
Accio.
Okay. She's doing a very different strategy each time, and I hate that she's getting better each time, too.
Precisely as planned.
Oh my god. Yeah, no kidding. What the world? My cat. Cat just freaked out. Alright, I'm gonna do the same thing, basically. I'm not. Oh, god.
Such grace. Finesse. Accio.
Let's go back to dueling. I have some very select curses for you. Oh no, come
As
on!
planned.
Alright, the only way I can play this is dirty. So let's do it.
Accio.
I can't win this
Precisely
either.
as planned.
Unless maybe I could pull this one all the way over here.
Accio.
It's worth a try. Oh, that's very strange. That was not as I intended at all. Okay. Okay.
Hard luck. Care for
Okay.
another round?
Let's keep going. Let's keep going. I'm not going to stop.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to give up.
Don't count me out yet.
I'm not giving
That's
up.
the spirit.
I'm not giving up yet. Anyway,
Accio.
while I express my frustration, while I just sort of accept my various bits of frustration,
Precisely as planned.
let's see if I can just play dirty from the beginning and just knock hers the heck out. Let's go for it.
Accio.
Okay.
Accio.
It wasn't perfect, but it was good enough. It'll do.
Precisely as planned.
Okay. Let's see if I can do this one. Oh! Darn it.
Such grace.
Okay. Okay.
Finesse. Accio.
Into the 50. Okay, if I can
That's
knock
actually a
this
fact.
one out and land mine in the 40 or the 50,
Accio.
if it's in the 40, I tie. Oh! 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 Here we go.
Sting me with a
Okay.
billywig. I'll never top
Oh,
that.
okay. There it is.
Wow,
Okay.
You are good.
Oh, all right. Oh my gosh. All right, there we go. We did it. We done it. We done and did it. It was done.
I'm not too proud to admit when I've lost. Where did you learn to play like that?
I practice as much as I can.
Literally just
Practice,
now
eh?
against you.
I suppose I could try
Good
that.
lord.
Well, you've only
Oh,
one
that was a tough one.
opponent left now.
That was a really tough one.
I won't say more than that, but let's just say he's the best for a reason.
It's the professor, isn't it? Bakar, is it? No, he's the... Bakar's the name. I forget the charms professor. Darn. I'm not currently tracking anything. Yes, I am. What are you talking about? I should be. This one. Anyway, so in the news lately has been a fascinating ethical topic, and unfortunately one that I'm probably not going to be able to have time to really dive into in class because I have literally one class left tomorrow, and most of that is going to be dedicated to student presentations. So I'm a little disappointed. There's actually a couple of things that I haven't really been able to get to a great degree. In part because I don't dedicate specific slotted time to issues, like ethical topics kind of thing. And so one of them that I'll often wind up talking about. Actually, no, I'm only 10 minutes into my stream, so I'm not actually going to talk about that one because YouTube might derank me or something. So I'll talk to the one. I'll speak to the one that is in the news at the moment, that I've been hearing a lot about, and I've been thinking a lot about because everybody seems to be thinking a lot about it. Which is the topic of surrogacy. That is having children by surrogates. In other words, of buying designer babies. And it's a fascinating topic because it leads to a lot of confusions. A lot of people are pretty confused about it because it's kind of hard to lay out exactly it's kind of hard to lay out exactly what's wrong with it. I mean, there's obviously the horror factor, the psychological horror factor that a lot of the practices and procedures that go into IVF and surrogacy are just immediately strike the well-adjusted viewer as is gravely unnatural. Right, the freezing of embryos, 5 children basically, to the separation of mothers from children, and the separation of the act of reproduction from the reproductive act, let's say. Things like that are sort of intuitively gross, but figuring it out exactly can lead to a lot of confusions, and so that's why we have some weird divisions forming in sort of the media and or pop culture and or social media and or news and or pop philosophical environment. And so there's something about this that I can talk about, because I was actually, just before we started, I was listening to a talk by Michael Knowles, who I've talked about before on stream, that I love a lot of what he has to say, and I despise a lot of what he has to say. He just oscillates wildly between incredibly profound and deeply retarded. And it's, I'll talk about exactly what he has to say about it in a little bit, because he's spot on with some things, and he's wildly off with a couple of others.
Professor
A couple of
Fake,
minor things.
the Keepers have shown me where the next trial is.
Has something changed?
Lodgok and I have learned that the goblins are searching for another repository, like the one we saw at Rookwood Castle. And I discovered that they're building massive drills to help in their search. Professor Fitzgerald seemed very concerned.
I see. Ranrock clearly knows even more than we suspected.
And sir, there's something else. Lodgok knew Miriam.
He knew Miriam?
They encountered each other at Rookwood Castle. She was doing research. That's where she found the container with the portkey. He liked her so much that he let her leave with it, despite orders from Ranrock.
I don't know what to say. She could win over almost anyone. I want to hear more.
You should meet Lodgok.
And, in fact, I'd like to speak with Lodgok
Oh,
directly.
well, there you go.
But we've no time now. Where is the next trial?
Believe it or not, it's in the headmaster's office.
Incredible. All right. You'll need the password to get past the stone gargoyle. The headmaster's house elf will know it.
I've actually met Scrope, but I'm not sure he'll tell me. He's rather devoted to the Black family.
He is. So you'll need a disguise. I have just the thing. A polyjuice potion. You'll look and sound like Professor Black.
Wait, doesn't Polyjuice Potion require a bit of the person you want to change into? And take ages to brew?
It does.
So how do you already have Polyjuice Potion to change into Professor Black?
One never knows when such a thing may come in handy. Let's just say I felt the need to be prepared for anything after my fruitless trip to the ministry on his behalf. Now,
That's really
time is of the
sketchy.
essence. Drink up and I shall explain more.
A lot about the Polyjuice Potion is very sketchy. We've talked about Transfiguration before in terms of the animation, in terms of being an animagus, but
How do you feel?
Incredible.
all
I won't forget that taste anytime soon. How do I sound?
Convincing. I've taken the liberty of transfiguring your robes. As we discussed, you'll need the password from Scrope, who could be anywhere in the castle. You might look for Professor Kagawa. She's taken to badgering the poor elf about Quidditch in the hopes that he can convince Black to change his mind. Thus far, unsuccessfully.
I see. But what if Professor Black sees me?
Leave him to me. I shall tell him where to meet a liaison from the ministry in Hogsmeade. That should give you plenty of time.
Thank you, Professor. I suppose we'll meet again in the map chamber.
It's rather strange to hear gratitude coming from Professor Black. I'll see you there.
Now to find the headmaster's house elf.
yeah. A lot about the Polyjuice Potion is ethically dubious. It's okay. So first of all, there are a lot of obviously unethical uses of the Polyjuice Potion. This being one of them.
Do you have a moment, Professor?
Yeah. Okay.
Professor, I was hoping to catch you.
Places to be, Professor Sharp. Places to be.
Of course, sir. Only, you'd asked me about a particular potion, and I
I did, yes. Well, spit it out, Sharp. I don't have all day.
Probably best not to discuss it here, sir.
Really? Why can't we talk about potions here? Seems fine to me.
Very well. I've brewed the cure for boils you wanted. I can drop it by your office when it's convenient.
Of course, yes. No need for all the cloak and dagger. Simply have a student deliver it.
A student. Very well, sir, if you insist.
I do. And thank you, Sharp. I just hope you've brewed enough for all my boils.
Now, to determine which student gets this rather unenviable...
If you must speak with me, consult my secretaries or what have you. Now move along.
God. All right. So yeah, that's
What
the
did the headmaster want?
hi.
Gareth. Mr. Weasley, what are you doing here? Don't you have somewhere to be?
Oh, Professor. Yes, of course. All sorts of places I'd rather be right now. Do you need something from me?
I'm looking for my house elf. Surely you've seen him?
Ah, the little one-eared fellow. I saw him heading to the Great Hall moments ago, muttering on about your, sterling graces, sir.
I am watching you, Mr. Weasley. Mr. Redding, who owns Honeydukes, tells me some of his billywig stings recently went missing. Prime potion ingredient. And I know you fancy yourself a skilled potioneer.
What? But, sir, I haven't been anywhere near Honeydukes.
Bah! That's enough from you. Just know that I have eyes and ears everywhere.
Wow, that is using some really nasty inside
Mr.
information.
Weasley.
That's really rude. Oh, man. All right.
Well, there's one for my diary.
So yeah, it's obviously ethically questionable to imitate someone for deceptive purposes like this, right?
I haven't time for any of you.
You are very
None
directly,
at all.
if nothing else, very directly questioning.
How are you, sir?
Oh, hi. Very directly deceiving at least Skrelp, right? The house elf, as well as everybody else he's talking to.
Mr. Gaunt,
And
where do you
defaming
think you're going?
Professor
I
Black.
beg your pardon, sir. I'm simply on my way outside.
Taking the day off, eh? Typical student, wasting the hours away.
I have to write 20 inches on Dittany and its uses. Was heading to the greenhouse.
Ah, yes. Mixed with bubo tuber pus makes a fine mustache paste. Yes, mustache paste. I find.
Are you feeling all right, sir? You don't seem yourself.
I assure you I am quite healthy, Gaunt. If I need a medical diagnosis, I shall head to St. Mungo's.
Also, I like the implication that there are
You
wizard
with
saints.
Your mouth open? Where are your manners?
Professor,
Like, specifically wizard saints. Like
Professor
saints
Black,
that are only known to the wizard world.
again, it is not too late to
I love the
reconsider your
implications of that.
decision regarding Quidditch. We could still have trials and a somewhat shortened season. It would be better than none at all.
But the injury, Madam Kogawa.
Professor, more than one student has taken a bludger to the head on our pitch. I dare say it knocked some sense into them. And they're fine now. The fact that it happened to be a pureblood, well, that's no reason to...
What nonsense! That you would trivialize the health of a student over a silly game.
A silly game? You are quite impossible sometimes. Sir, I've a good mind to write to the Department of Magical Games and Sports at the Ministry about you.
You're not sure.
Good idea. I can even provide the parchment should you need it. Now, where is my elf?
Parchment? Very well, I will, and with pleasure. And I spotted Scrope in the Great Hall.
Instigate.
Seems to be avoiding me.
Instigate.
I wonder why. Good day, Madam Kogawa.
God.
What did we do to deserve him as a headmaster?
Stand proud, purebloods. The future is yours.
I'm trying to think now. I'm pondering whether there might be perfectly ethical uses for Polyjuice Potion.
No, it's the headmaster, and he's coming this way.
The only one I could think of, I guess, would maybe be like stage productions.
Miss
Right,
Broom,
like
a
acting?
word.
Oh, Professor, this is an interesting surprise. It's Bloom, by the way.
Remind me of your area of affinity, Broom. OWLs are swift approaching.
Charms, sir. Non-verbal spells. Might work on one that makes me disappear.
Well, keep at it, Broom. And before you know it, you'll be as invisible as that new fifth year seems to be.
They're not invisible, sir. I've seen them near the library. In fact, they help me with my, heavy books.
Speaking of invisible, where's my blasted house elf?
Good thinking.
Something seems a
Nice
little
segue.
off with the headmaster.
All right, let's see. Yeah, I
Has
actually.
anyone seen my ivory-handled hand mirror? Of course you haven't.
Yeah, I'm wondering as to. Well,
Professor?
if there is
word,
an ethical use or ethical uses for
Hello,
Polyjuice
Professor
Potion.
Black.
Professor Weasley.
Maybe I'm not
How
all
delightful
that
to
creative
see you.
with respect to magic.
Sir?
the uses of magic,
since
but
I have you here,
like stage
I
productions,
wonder if
plays,
I might,
acting is really the only thing I
speak
can
with
really
you
think
about
of.
Professor Fig.
Oh, very well.
Because it
I'm
does
returning to
require
give him
you
a bit
take the
more,
form of some
leeway
specific person,
with
so it's
his
not
time.
just an
Leeway,
anonymization
Professor?
thing.
Are
It
you
is taking
sure
the
that's
form of
wise?
some other person.
I confess I do worry for his students. He's rarely here as it is.
Which I think that seems to be innately can really only be deceptive. I can't think of uses of that don't involve some manner of deception. And so it would really be just those cases where deception is permissible. So, acting, like play acting, or maybe jokes, right? Using Polyjuice Potion for a practical joke might be perfectly ethical. Again, so long as it is. So again, like Duns Scotus lays out a bunch of sort of reasonable restrictions on what makes a joke or even a practical joke, a prank, ethical, and it's basically the long and the short of it is, yes, you can ethically lie and deceive to play a joke, but only if it's in good spirits. In other words, only if the butt of the joke, upon realizing that it is a joke, will also benefit from it. So if they can laugh too, then it's okay. But if they are merely the schlemazel, so to speak, if the joke is entirely on them, so to speak, then not okay. Then you're just lying in order to harm somebody so that other people might benefit from it, and that's not okay. Let's be mean.
I realize that, and I'd like to keep it that way.
I see. But, sir, if I may, I am wary of how much time the new fifth year seems to be spending away from the castle, supposedly on Professor Fig's behalf. I've heard unsettling rumors of their escapades. Everything from sneaking into the Forbidden Forest to confronting Ranrock's loyalists.
I don't know how
and
sneaky I've been, but okay.
What? Goodness. You cannot believe everything you hear, Professor. No, you cannot. I mean, I shall keep an eye on Fig. You simply keep doing the wonderful job that you're doing. Simply wonderful.
Thank you. But I'm happy to look into...
Good. That'll be all, Weasley. I mean, Professor Weasley. Good day.
A wonderful job. Leeway for Professor Fig? I shall never understand that man.
That ought to give Professor Fig some breathing room.
Scrope's as hard a worker as any house elf.
Hi there.
Scrope!
Oh, greetings, Master.
Remind me of the password to my office.
Oh, but Master made Scrope swear never to tell anyone, even Master himself.
And now I'm telling you that you can tell me.
Yes, sir. Of course, sir. Scrope begs forgiveness. It is the Black family motto, Master.
Right. Of course.
Master does remember it.
It's pure bloods forever, isn't it?
Close, Master. Scrope thinks Master is indeed testing Scrope. It is always pure.
Obviously.
And, of course, as Master knows, in French.
Yes, of course. I order you to pronounce it for me.
Oh, Master knows that Scrope's French is most pitiful. Oh, very well. Toujours pure.
There is another
actually not
matter,
bad.
Scrope. I confiscated this filthy diary from a student. It smells of squid and seawater.
Oh, Apollonia's diary. That is quite a surprise, Master. What do you wish Scrope to do with this treasure? Rubbish.
Whatever you wish, Scrope. It's your treasure. Now, off with you.
Oof.
Ahem! The Polyjuice potion's wearing off. I best get out of sight.
Oh boy. Ahem. Uh-oh. I didn't get to do the little speech that you can do if you're If you do that first before you talk to Scrope,
I can't believe it worked.
if you do the little speech first before you speak to Scrope, you can actually give a speech as Professor Black, and I think you actually can sort of shape how it is that you say it, what it is that you say. If I remember right, because I have done this before. Where's the what? Where's the quest? It's not going to tell me, is it? Okay. Fine. Toujours pure. Horse. It's a little odd that it's French, honestly. I know I don't need to go into the dungeons. Why am I down? Oh, this is the kitchens, isn't it? I haven't been down here. This is where the Hufflepuff dormitories are.
Revelio.
Uh-huh. Pear portrait. If one tickles the pear in this still life painting of a bowl of fruit, it will giggle before turning into a doorknob to allow entry into a Hogwarts kitchen. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out exactly where the Hufflepuff dorms are. Hufflepuff barrels to enter the Hufflepuff common room. One must tap the barrel 2 from the bottom middle of the second row in the rhythm of Helga Hufflepuff. An errant tap will result in being denied access and doused in vinegar. Ah! Go ahead. I want to see you go in. You're going to sit down outside your common room because there is a Slytherin nearby. Of course you are. Delightfully absurd. Delightfully absurd.
Revelio.
Ah, look at all the elves.
Alohomora.
Ah, gosh. Anyway, I was saying earlier about surrogacy, and particularly having to do with Michael Knowles and his chat on the subject. It was a live discussion, a live talk he was giving, if I remember right, at some university. I forget what, Clemson, I think. But yeah, it was a pretty good talk, and he was going through a lot of what is what is not so obviously wrong about surrogacy.
Revelio.
Oh, it's over there. Because in some cases it's kind of hard to tell. Like I said, what's wrong with it, because it is it's a new issue.
Here's a welcome treat.
It isn't something that, as he points out in this talk, I think very correctly. Ooh, that's a nice one. This isn't something that people have ever really. That's adorable. Ever really had to deal with before. The closest thing you would have, and it was extremely rare historically, and I don't even know if this actually existed or whether they were just sort of apocryphal accounts,
Revelio.
of things like parents having children for others.
Delicious.
Right? Having children for other people, basically. Right? Agreeing to not just carry somebody else's child, because that would just be, a weird form of prostitution, which admittedly this is too. But a case of like having a child for somebody else, like deliberately having a child so that the child could be adopted by somebody else, that kind of thing, which, as far as I know, is historically rare, if not unheard of. Oh, where's the key? Oh, I heard it. I heard it. Where's the damn thing? Where's the key? Where is that key? I heard it. I heard it twittering. Speaking of, I'm on Twitter now. So, there's that. I don't know if I'm enjoying it yet. I don't know. I'm not. Like, I still... Some of the interactions are fun. I get to harass federal agents and stuff like that. That's always nice. But, like, I still hate the format. Where is the stupid thing? It's not showing up on the thing, which is the... It's not showing up when I Revelia, which is kind of the annoying part. Oh well. If I run across it, I run across it. If not, another time. Honestly, that is something that I should do. Like, I should dedicate some time to, even if it's off stream. The keys. Anyway, as I was saying. Damn it, I heard the bastard. It's up there. See it. How do I get up there? Up there. Ah, there we go. All right. Anyway. So I was saying, Knowles does a good job of pointing out how this was a novelty in human history and points out a lot of the things that are wrong with surrogacy that we have trouble noticing, right? And I can go through a lot of those, right? I can talk about what they are specifically, but one of the points that he makes that he makes some really good points, right? And I mean, I can't deny that. But he also makes some really dumb ones. Right? So when he's looking at sort of trying to diagnose the problem, trying to figure out how this happened, why is it that we're now so willing to completely disregard the intrinsic relationships of a family for the sake of designer baby by by people who otherwise would not be able to have, or not wouldn't be able to. That implies that they can under these circumstances, but people who cannot naturally have children. But that is typically in the case of two men who marry. And so we can look at all sorts of reasons why, and we can primarily look to sort of ideological reasons that over time there's been a gradual diminution of the significance and importance of not the significance and importance of our I should rather say of our understanding of men and women and the nature the natures of the different properties of men and women and their interrelationship to each other and all of that, which is a result of roughly speaking the last century or so of complex philosophical thought as it generally and sort of gradually filters down into the sort of popular consciousness. Level 3, darn it. I'm gonna have to come back here at some point. Not this one.
Aloha Mora.
There you go. And so,
Revelio.
There certainly are all of these impacts, right? All of these influences, these ideological influences, and it does lead to something like the commodification of the human person, which is really a huge problem, and that's one of the primary problems with this whole thing. Letter for Professor Hackett, talking about the goblins and problems with goblins. This is such a nice office.
Revelio.
But so this is right. This is obviously a set of issues, right? That there is this this ideological influence that in large part has Oh, what is this? Oh god, there's a puzzle to this door. There's an ideological influence.
That's where I need to speak the password.
Yeah, I know. But hold on. There's other things I need to do first.
Revelio.
Maybe not. Yeah, I guess not. Okay. But Knowles, perhaps even to an extent, trying to avoid placing purely ideological blame
Revelio.
or anything like that, or blame on the people involved. Right? He instead puts the blame on. And I mean, if you know Knowles and if you know his shtick, you can maybe guess. That's tempting. I still like that one better. Knowles winds up putting the blame on capitalism, of all things. And you can kind of see where he's coming from. That this is, that part of the issue with surrogacy, excuse me, is the commodification of the human person, of treating human persons as if they are, as if they are goods for purchase, or available for purchase. Yeah, I need to save this for that. And so it's so he, of course, as he usually does, conflates capitalism with
Toujours pure.
there we go. Cool. He conflates capitalism with the worship of mammon, right? Of the commodification of everything, and of the obsession with money, and
all the elite visiting families have a motto.
and the replacement of sleeping virgins. The replacement of ethics with
Revelio.
Money, the love of money, which is not in any way capitalism. Now, it may be an accidental feature of some people in a capitalist economy, but it's not essential to, at all essential to capitalism per se. Oh, hey.
It's good to see you.
All thanks to Professor Fig's quick thinking. Now what?
Approach the pedestal in the antechamber and read the book that appears.
Not yet.
What can I expect to find?
Still
in the
need to
book?
explore a bit.
A story. I cannot say more. You may recognize some elements of it, as I was inspired by a tale with which many wizarding children are familiar.
I suspect there will be more to this than reading a book.
Your suspicions are correct. We shall speak when you are finished.
This is
under the headmaster's nose all this
really,
time.
really cool. I'm not going to do it yet. I want to explore a bit first. Because I'm probably not going to be able to get back in here, so... Oh, man. I need to be able to get back in here. For that... Oh, man, look at this. So nice. Another level 3. Darn it. Need to collect a bunch more moons. Again, probably off stream. And before I jump in, though, right? So, this is a really common thing that Knowles does. He will often conflate... he'll often conflate capitalism and the market with the worship of mammon, with replacing ethics with a desire for profit, he'll conflate, say, libertarianism with libertinism, to put it that way. Knowles is notorious for this, and I mean, it's hard to blame him. He's a fairly traditional Catholic, and unfortunately, a lot of fairly traditional Catholics fall into this ridiculous trap. Not all. There's plenty of traditional Catholics who are actually sound on political economy. People like Tom Woods, people like Lou Rockwell, people like Jeffrey Tucker, folks like that, who tend to be Mises Institute types, are actually pretty good on both economics and theology. ecclesiology and all that. But Knowles is not one of them. He's very bad. Excuse me. When it comes to understanding what the free market means, he has essentially the same view of the free market as a lot of both people on both the left and the right accuse the Pope of having, which is really unfortunate. Oops. Yeah, it's even just throughout this. Oh, this is so cool. I love this, especially visually. This is so cool.
Can you hear me?
I am here. In this place, you may call me Neve.
Neat.
You shall be witness to a fable. Pay attention. Things are not always as they seem. You must move swiftly and cautiously. Use the tools you encounter to find me. The first in this place, as in life, death takes many forms. Avoid each of them at all costs.
Time to avoid death. Oh man, that's so cool. Oh, that's so cool. This is so well done. I love this. This is so spooky. Man, I can't. Can I sprint? Yeah, I can, because I put the perk in sprinting. Here we go. Awesome. Yeah, I've talked before about how
I should have run when I could. I'd be free by now.
I've talked before about how Knowles oscillates between saying things that are awesome and just absolutely profound, brilliant, and then saying things that are absolutely ridiculous. This is one of those cases, and he does it in the same speech.
Neve must be here
So
somewhere.
even in this very same speech, he oscillates rapidly between. I can't use my wand. Can't jump over either. Do something to distract that skelly.
I need to time this just right.
Oh god. Uh-oh. I seem to have made it.
I see. A staircase straight ahead.
Where? Oh, over there, okay. There we go. But yeah, he oscillates in this singular very talk. He oscillates very rapidly between having these absolutely brilliant, profound explanations of what's wrong, which again has a lot to do with our sort of cultural understanding of the interchangeability of men and women, and having to do with our failure to reckon with the importance of, say, mothers. Okay. Oop. Yeah, come to the ladder. Get to the ladder. Stuff like that, right? He oscillates between that stuff and then the really, really stupid things like blaming capitalism or surrogacy because it's commodification.
I need to get out of here. Where could Neve be?
Please don't scream.
Too many. I must cross this road as fast as I can.
Okay, well, they're not looking right now, right? Okay. A lot of them.
That's where I need to go, but I need to find a way past them.
I just need to wait, right? Okay. Anyway, so yeah, it has now been more than the first half hour, so I can talk about the other thing that I wanted to talk about, and I probably won't have time to talk about in class, unfortunately. Oh, jeez. That being the
Nothing this way, but more
issues surrounding
must be another way to find
assisted suicide. So, especially what's common in Canada,
Turn
made.
back. There's no getting past them that way.
Oh boy. Oops. How far back am I set here? Hope it's right here, but we'll see. See. Okay, it's right here. Do I have to go in here? Yeah, I thought so.
Closed tight. That doorway looks like the only safe way forward.
Okay. What's this? I have potions. I'm good. Yeah, so I really wanted to talk about assisted suicide, particularly with its prominence these days, especially in places like Canada, but not exclusively. Unfortunately, not exclusively. It is, unfortunately, it's becoming more and more prevalent, kind of all over the world. And oh, come on, move.
Now's my chance.
Is it? Alright, I guess. And part of the issue is that we get this idea that it is in some way compassionate to allow someone to die. Right? Allow someone to die with dignity, yada yada yada. You've heard all the arguments.
That's the way forward.
Yeah, there we go. The cloak of invisibility. Look at that.
Can this be? I think I'm invisible.
Yeah, very cool. It's the Deathly Hallows. In case you didn't notice, this is the tale of the Deathly Hallows.
They can't see me at all. I can get closer to them.
It's the Deathly Hallows in the inverted order. In the inverted order, it goes cloak, stone, then wand in here. But anyway, it's very cool. Anyway, I was saying, we are tempted to think that medical aid in dying is helpful. It's aid, right? It is it's compassionate.
Death thus far, but have yet to
And
find me. Keep searching, but this time you will be unable to hide.
oh, it does go
Wield the
wand
you
next.
see before you.
I was thinking the resurrection stone was
Squander its
next.
extraordinary power.
Can I have it? Yeah, there we go. Cool. Oh yeah, I forgot. This is a major fight. A major fight here against a bunch of skellies.
I've never felt such power.
Yeah, so we are why is it allowing me just those spells? Very strange.
Depulso.
Really?
Bombarda.
Whoa! Oh, that was cool. But yeah, it's we think of this whole maid thing as being, oh, I shouldn't have done that, poor sheep. As being compassionate, right? The idea is that that what we're doing is we're trying to help. We're helping people to alleviate their suffering, and we do so because we see.
Depulso. Defender. Depulso.
because we think doing so is helping, right? Because people want to die because they see death as preferable to the suffering that they're experiencing in life, or at least they can be convinced as such, which that is another very, very dangerous part.
Descender! Protego! Stupefy! Stupefy! Defender! Depulsor! Descender!
Neat. Come on, really?
Bombarda! Protego! Stupefy! Stupefy! Bombarda! Depulsor!
That's it, right?
Revelio!
Yeah, that's it. So the problem here is, if we're going to say be compassionate as we see it, and acquiesce to help someone in their decision to die, their decision to commit suicide, essentially, the problem here is that in a medical context, we are all too willing to do so these days. But in any other context, suicide prevention is an absolute priority. By absolute priority, I mean we are willing to sacrifice damn near anything to try to convince someone not to take their own life. And even in some cases, to forcibly stop someone from taking their own life. Justifiably, really.
Defender! Protego! Stupefy! Descendo! Depulso! Bombarda! Protego! Stupefy! Depulso! Descendo! Defendo! Bombarda!
So a question arises, right? Why would we be willing to overrule someone's autonomy? Oh, jeez. To, in a case where the reason for doing so is because their will is to kill themselves.
Stupefy! Bombarda! Defender! Stupefy! Defender! Protego!
Okay. Oh, I only needed to kill the troll. Okay, fine. Anyway, how was that? Where'd you come from? There we go. So, the reason we would,
Protego! Stupid!
Ah! Woo!
Bombarda!
The reason we would be willing to overrule someone's will in a case of where that will is suicide is because we rightfully think, we acknowledge, I guess I should say, that the choice to kill oneself is necessarily irrational.
Depulso. Defendo. Stupefy. Protego. Stupefy. Stupefy. Depulso.
There we go. Right, so we recognize that it would be impossible to make the rational choice to end one's life. That is necessarily an irrational choice. Because for a choice to be rational is in part for it to align with, if not some true good, at least some perceived good. Right? And if we are perceiving something that is entirely and necessarily bad, as if it were good, in other words, our death, right? If we're perceiving the cessation of our being as something which is good, then our perceptions are so distorted. We recognize that our perceptions of the matter are so distorted that we have no cognition of reality. We have no connection to the real, and so we are not actually thinking clearly to the point where we can make coherent decisions. Let me check something. Make sure my stream's doing fine. Yeah, okay. I don't have it pulled up like usual. I'm still using the internal OBS software thing, so I just wanted to confirm, wanted to make sure. Anyway, we're good. Anyway, yeah, it's one of those things that we innately recognize. It's the same with the whole surrogacy thing to a large extent, right? We innately and sort of intuitively recognize that suicide is bad in all cases.
You are far from finished. Pass through the mourners ahead. Nothing is what it seems.
Interesting.
She's gone. Neve's dead.
Oh, it's her death. I see.
Oh, poor Neve. Gone so young.
There's death. But yeah, it's this this idea that we can intuit things without realizing why they are so obviously the case.
May her memory be a treasure to us forever.
And so because we rely strictly on these intuitions, on intuiting that suicide bad, right, which is absolutely true, but because we rely on intuiting that rather than on determining why it is the case through a careful, rational, deliberative process, when we start trying to apply that reasoning to other situations, it fails, right? And we often will come up with wrong answers, which is what happens, right? When we shift the context from, say, a man alone in his own home, staring down a noose or staring down his suicide implement, whatever it is. We recognize there that what he's doing here is wrong, irrational, and that he needs help. He needs help to see the world properly and correctly. But we have a hard time with that when it's in a medical context, where we have this tendency, we have an automatic tendency to trust the experts, to trust the doctors, to place our trust in the medical institutions and the people of those institutions. And if the people of those institutions say, no, your prognosis is negative, you're going to die, then we automatically think, well, death. Here it is, death's inevitable, so might as well speed it up, right? And especially if they are willing to, again, analogously say, help with that. We fail to recognize that the same thing is happening, as is happening with the person alone and lonely who is contemplating ending his own life on his own. Right? We don't recognize that this is the same situation, the same scenario, and it has the same ethical and practical problems, because we don't know precisely what's wrong with it. So we can't extrapolate from one case to another relevantly similar but apparently different kind of case.
You found me.
Oh god, that
But
was
you
freaky.
cannot undo what has been done. The magic of the stone can only conjure a shadow of my former self.
That was really freaky. Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's very cool.
But there is no light without shadow, as there is no shadow without light. Simply because you can eliminate darkness does not always mean that you should. Remember that as you witness my memory.
And this is, of course, to say, right, this actually ties right in with what we're seeing here, that pain, which is a major theme here, is the taking away of pain. But that's not always necessarily a good thing, just because pain is not always necessarily a bad thing. Pain is... it's a part of experience, it's part of reality, it's information, it tells us something about the world, about reality. Pain of loss, which is really what this is this is talking about. That is the kind of pain that that Morganach was originally taking away, right? The pain of loss, emotional pain of loss. That's not a bad thing at all.
Isadora, what you did for your father was remarkable.
Wasn't it? And Percival needn't worry about the strands of emotion or the traces that this magic leaves. I found a way to contain all of it.
You haven't stopped.
Goblin Silver.
You spoke to a goblin about this.
Don't worry, he has no idea what we're containing.
We don't know what effect any of this may have. The emotions, the dark traits.
You sound like Percival. And as
Well,
it happens,
yeah.
I do know. It is a source of strength, of focus. Somehow it enhances my ability to wield magic.
I don't follow, Isadora.
I think we can harness it.
Power like this is not to be toyed with. In the wrong
You
hands,
saw what I did for my father. Oh, Neve, imagine the good we could do. Everyone is in some kind of pain.
What are you doing?
Breathe it in. Can you feel it?
Oh, Isadora. This must stop. All of it.
An abuse of power combined with
Power to
a
yourselves for so long because you fear it.
misunderstanding of
I
what
choose
pain
to
is.
embrace it.
Pain, again, is information. It tells us something. In this case, an emotional pain, sense of emotional pain. It reminds us of the importance of what we lost, right? So if we mourn a loved one, it reminds us of who they are, who they were, and their importance to our lives. And without that pain, we lose the memory. And we might remember, like, episodically. We lose the significance of the memory. It doesn't reach in. It doesn't reach in and touch us in the same way without the pain. The pain associated with it. And the pain that we would almost say the pain that contains it, right? The pain that indicates the significance, the importance of the memory. And again, it's very much parallel to what we were talking about suicide.
The first 3 trials.
That if we're in pain, the assumption is that life is no longer worth living, but that's not the case. Pain's telling us something.
I know.
Even if it's physical pain, right? It's telling us that something bad is happening. That doesn't mean
The
that
pensive memory I just witnessed.
to stop it we ought to do something worse to ourselves.
Painful emotions.
Right?
She was.
Yeah, no. Yeah, Soren is a little power hungry and whatnot because he is Slytherin. He is very ambitious, but boy howdy, this seems like something not to be messed with.
I found it disturbing. But how did she gain power from it? How did she harness it?
It was disturbing. Although, I wonder that you are asking about her power. I hesitate to reveal the location of my pensive to someone who, perhaps, has yet to understand the responsibility of power.
Yeah, I'm 16.
I do.
15.
In fact, what you
15?
don't yet know
Maybe
is that a
16 by now.
dangerous goblin called Ranrock has accessed the repository at Rookwood Castle. He has learned to
that's not
harness the contents of it as a source of immense power. He plans to use that power against wizardkind. We have no time to waste.
I see. Nonetheless, the knowledge you shall gain after you witness my memories is too valuable to share without further consideration. I shall require time to confer with the other keepers.
I hope it's not going to change
It seems
seasons
we
already.
have no choice but to wait, frustrating as it is. I heard what you told Professor Bakar. Isadora was inhaling emotions to gain power?
She was. And she pulled emotions, as she did from her father, from Professor Fitzgerald, without permission.
Monstrous.
What's more, she said that she found a way to store the traces of magic she extracted in goblin silver.
The repositories?
Possibly. There's something I didn't get a chance to tell you earlier. Ranrock has been digging at locations tied to the 5 names he found in the journals of a goblin metalworker named Bragball.
5 names? The Keepers, and who else? Isadora Morganac?
Precisely.
Oh,
That's
there we go.
been one step ahead of us. Gringotts, the Tower, Rookwood Castle.
If the Keepers won't tell you where the next trial is yet, I say we at least maintain a watch on Ranrock. Perhaps he'll lead us to more information.
Perhaps. I hope to hear from Lodgok soon. I haven't heard anything since I learned of the drills. Oh, and as you've probably guessed by now, your Polyjuice plan worked like a charm.
I knew it would. I may have done too good a job distracting Black. I had no idea he can't hold his fire whiskey.
Delightful. Okay, now what? Oh, okay, that's done. Okay, it appears that the seasons have not changed. That's good. That is very good. I think we will continue some side quests in the nice winter time. All else fails, maybe we will just right now we'll just go to the. Well, first of all, we got to see what that is. There's a quest directly above us. Where? Where's that quest? Ooh! History of Magic class. Cool. Let's do it. Anyway. Wow. What's this?
Aloha Mora.
There we go.
Revelio.
Is this the old potions room? Alchemy class. Oh. Offered to older students on the rare occasion when demand suffices, alchemy focuses on the 4 natural elements and the science of transmutation. Very cool. Very cool. Interesting. Very neat. I've stumbled upon the History of Magic classroom before, so let's actually go attend, shall we? I forgot my pillow.
In today's lesson, we will cover a truly thrilling event. The Goblin Rebellion of 1752 and all its triumphant tragedy. But more specifically, we will address the devastating effects it had on the wizard milling industry. Throughout the many goblin battles, countless wizard
We're staying awake here.
lost. Actually, we do know the number. 632.
Countless. 632.
But history
Yes.
occurs outside the classroom. And look, it's time for my constitutional.
Why do you need a constitutional?
Osmos the history flowing through Hogwarts.
I think the professor wants us to follow him.
Yep. Neat.
And now for a stroll to the bell tower.
Why do you need a constitutional? You're not even moving your limbs, Professor.
Early Middle Ages. The hall and the bell towers that loom above it contain myriad interesting artifacts.
We can't go through walls, Professor Bins. What are you doing?
Good to see you again. Recovered from that nasty bout of dragon pox, have we?
That wasn't me, Professor. I'm new here.
Are you? Well then, welcome. No doubt you're eagerly anticipating my analysis of various wizarding councils, codes, statutes, and of course, Goblin Rebellion.
Okay, I think we're fine.
Not all goblins are rebellious. Some venture into wizarding politics, such as Eargit the Ugly. Some are talented artisans, such as Bragbor the Boastful.
Bragbor.
Did you say Bragbor? I know that name. Lord Gok said he was an ancestor of Ranrock.
Well known for his metalwork. I would imagine much of his goblin-wrought iron and silver has survived to this very day. Where were we? Oh yes. Back to our class topic for today. Grimbold Weft. Another notable historical figure. He's right nearby. Curious students can find him on display here in the bell tower and...
Abandoning class to wander the halls is in keeping with Professor Binns' manner of teaching.
Hero of Hogwarts.
Can you tell me where I might find Grimbold Weft?
Oh yes, Grimbold Weft. Quick with a needle and thread, that one. He's a fascinating artifact of the Goblin Rebellion of 1752. At any rate, he can be found nearby, perched in his case.
Perched in his case.
Revelio.
Over here? Ah, there we are. Very cool. I actually totally dig this, and I don't understand how the history of magic can be boring. Like, this is a fascinating subject. I mean, really, it's... I mean, maybe I'm just an historian, which I am.
Oh yes.
Like by training and by interest. I got a degree in history as well as philosophy, and I'm working on sort of teaching certification as well, so I can cross-list and teach some history classes. Which, man, the especially pre-modern history to me, because I've never had any interest in the modern period philosophically or historically, but pre-modern history is absolutely fascinating. Absolutely fascinating.
Yes.
Even the weird little details, like he's Professor Binns likes talking about.
I know the feeling quite well. Now, let's turn our attention to the agreeability and general good nature of Sir Aphbuttle. He's also nearby. See what you can learn from him for your next assignment.
It's so weird that every part of the ghosts are desaturated except for their eyes. Their eyes are brightly colored.
Retinue of loyal knights, or rather, statues of knights, I should clarify. Keen-eyed students will spot the statue of Sir Half-Puddle of the Cheerful Countenance nestled among the ranks.
Fascinating.
His fame was not won by vanquishing foes in single combat, nor by slaying bloodthirsty dragons, but rather
This is a centuries-old likeness of Pangadon. Fearless mouse hunter and devoted study companion. People have always loved their pets. I find that comforting.
Aw.
At least we're out of the classroom.
Yeah. Honestly, this is a great way of teaching, and I kind of love this.
What I wouldn't give to be back on a broom right now.
I mean, okay, fine, but come on. Oh, is that him? I bet that's him. Like, okay, so he's talking about how the Goblin rebellions of 1752 led to basically a massive shift in the textiles industry, which yeah, that's really cool. That is
all that's left of a witch called Celine Wartnobby.
that is a really cool sort of conflation of military and military history and darn it, what's the term? There is an entire term for history studied through artifacts and objects, and it's not archaeology. It's oh gosh, is it materials history? Something like that. It's very cool. I had a professor who I took a bunch of classes with on ancient Rome, and she's a numismatist. She collects and studies coinage, and that is her sort of primary area of study and expertise is mostly Roman coinage, and there's so much you can learn from things like coins, because they're meant to be circulated widely throughout the entire empire, and often were. And there's a time lag between minting and when they get to places, and you can learn things about sort of trade patterns from where and when things show up, and all kinds of stuff like that. It's very, very neat. Sir Half-Puddle, the Cheerful Countenance. Legendarily friendly knight, who supposedly won every battle before it was fought, by virtue of his amiable negotiating tactics. Some attribute his success to an overly potent cheering charm he cast upon himself. Very cool. His helmet is a chicken. He has a chicken motif and a mustache helmet. I assume that is meant to depict part of the helmet, the giant mustache, and not his just giant mustache. It's really cool though. Kind of love it.
Professor Binns, I found the statue of Sir Half-Puddle.
Ah, well done. Alas, Sir Half-Puddle's affability was his undoing.
We seem to be getting some lag.
Instantly trying to befriend a basilisk.
Oh no.
Eye
Well,
contact is not
yeah,
always
understandable, I suppose.
to be encouraged. So beloved was he that even some goblins mourned his passing. Of course, that did not bode well with the rest of the goblins, most of whom could not abide mourning the loss of a wizard.
Are we? Uh-oh. Hold on. Please stand by. Are we okay? Looks like we're kind of okay. Yeesh. Alright. I think we're back to... Now we're back to good. Okay. There we go.
Pity goblins and wizards can't get along.
True. But imagine how dull my lectures would be without goblin rebellions to discuss. History does tend to repeat.
Yeah.
It is a series of patterns, a thought both comforting and disconcerting. The wise students, such as yourself, will learn from it.
Neat. Ooh, we got a books and cauldron shelf.
History is written by those who do their schoolwork, so they say. Or at least, I like to say that.
Yeah, I think that's a fair thing to say. Oh, gosh.
Leave it to Binns to make the most interesting school in the world seem dull.
How? Like, every bit of media that tries to depict Professor Binns and History of Magic because he's supposed to be dreadfully boring. Like, in the books, he's dreadfully boring. The problem is, he's just not. And his subject is just not boring. It's just fascinating. And even when you do this, and when you give him like the droning voice and stuff, he's far from the most boring. Oh my god, that was weird. She just apparated. He's far from the most boring sounding professor I've even ever had. In fact, it's a funny story. I TA'd for a professor a few years ago, quite a few years ago actually. At this point, I suppose. But I TA'd for a professor who was absolutely brilliant, absolutely unbelievably brilliant. I taught ancient philosophy, primarily focusing on Plato and with some touches of Aristotle.
Should prove useful once the sun's down.
Oh, yeah, let's see about it. I think we already did this one, though, didn't we? Oh, maybe not. We'll just wait till nighttime. He was absolutely brilliant. He knew his stuff so unbelievably well, and he could deliver that information brilliantly. He did such a good job at lecturing, at teaching complex, difficult subjects. However, this is, by the way, Mor Segev, who, man, I'll tell you what, is, I suppose, he's still teaching. He's rather young, actually. Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely knows so much about the culture and everything about the context of Greek philosophy. And yet, he had a problem teaching. It wasn't his fault at all. It was in no way his fault. Yeah, let's go down there. Ooh, wait. We'll do this. We'll do this first. We'll go speak to Deke. Because this is going to give us something very nice. You can guess what it is by the name of the there you go. By the name of the quest. Anyway, as I was saying, Dr. Segev, he was absolutely, sorry about that. He was absolutely brilliant, knew his stuff, but one of the faults he had in teaching was his voice. He had a naturally very low, very monotone voice that he could not shake. Partially his accent as well. He's Israeli, and so he has a very very almost droning both accent and vocal inflection. And it did not help either that this was like a 9:30 a.m. class. And so, unfortunately and naturally, the part of my job, I suppose, as the TA, was to keep students awake, or to try desperately to keep students awake, often unsuccessfully. I saw more students fall asleep in that class than in any other class that I've ever taught or been in. Which is really disappointing because it was also one of the most fascinating. Oh my god, that is the cutest thing ever. Its head is way too big. I love it. But yeah, it's one of those things that it's quite a shame that that so many students couldn't keep awake for this class, because it was just absolutely brilliant. It was so interesting and so well taught. But just purely due to the professor's vocal inflections, it turned into an unfortunate snooze fest, which is not, again, I don't think it's his fault. It's just a tone of voice thing. That he doesn't really have the intonation for thrilling lectures, let's say, which I tend to be able to do because my vocal inflections, they dance up and down quite a bit. Okay? And I do that in large part intentionally, so that I can keep attention on me, both in streams like this, and so that my voice can sort of pop out from what's going on in the background, from the game and all that. But then also, what kind of nest did it turn? Oh, what do you mean? Oh no, I said a snooze fest. Snooze fest. Have you not heard that? That's a, I thought, relatively common colloquialism, but maybe not. Maybe not. I don't know. Basically, a thing that puts people to sleep. It's usually used to describe something that is extremely boring, but I wouldn't say that was the case here. I don't think that Dr. Segev's classes were in any way boring. Not at all. The problem, of course, though, was that it became dramatically hard to actually pay attention, just because it was so I don't know, to put it nicely, so soothing. you know. Yeah, here we go. Oh, he's already getting food. And you're digging. Why are you digging? Calico. Yeah. Yeah. Eh. I can't shear your fur if you're all stuck together like this. Come on. All right, that's everybody, right? Yeah, it's everybody in here. Yeah, okay. But yeah, it was honestly, it was one of the most interesting classes that I had TA'd for, that I honestly wish I had taken. Now, this isn't to say that I didn't get a hell of a lot out of my my ancient philosophy classes. I really did. I took classes on Plato, I took classes on Aristotle, I took general sort of pre-Socratic stuff with some great professors, but none of them had the level of expertise that Dr. Segev did, and I just wish that his delivery were more able to reach more students. Because while yes, I was paying rapt attention, part of that was because I was paid to. It was my job. I was a teaching assistant. I was meant to help students figure things out. But part of that is also just because despite not being a morning person, frankly, I had to force myself very hard to actually pay close attention that early in the morning to a nice, rich, monotone baritone presenter, So anyway, it's one of those things that is something that you don't often think about in terms of teaching ability, right? That someone's ability to deliver information is is in large part conditioned upon something as simple as their voice. Oh, you're eating already. Okay. Tiny toad. Tiny kittens. Oh my god. This is so cute. I love the baby creatures. The baby beasties. It was just wonderful. Not everybody. No, you. Still you. Alright, anybody else? Oh, you. You. And this Thestral over here. Yeah. Sepulchra. Sepulchria. There we go. Alright, cool. Yeah, but anyway, it's one of those things that was I thought really pretty unfortunate. But it was it's a fault that I always strive very hard to avoid.
Deke has some exciting news to share.
Hello, Deke. Professor Weasley said you had an idea.
Indeed, Deke does. Deke knows that you want to learn about all sorts of beasts, and Deke recently heard rumors of a phoenix nest in a nearby mountain.
A phoenix
Isn't that what
nest?
happened to your last master?
I wonder if it belongs to the phoenix Natty mentioned, the one Harlow and the poacher pack are after.
Deke would not doubt it. If Deke has heard of it, surely the nasty poachers have as well, which means it could be in danger.
Well, I'd better go and rescue it then, hadn't I?
Deke thinks so. So majestic a beast should not fall into such vile hands.
Instead, we will
Deke
keep
is
it
not sure
here.
why, but Deke feels that saving a phoenix might help to make amends for what happened with Deke's
okay, here we go.
prior master. Deke hopes
So presumably,
that you are able to
I'll
find
say,
the phoenix and bring it to the room where it will be safe.
I will presumably say too that that capturing these various beasts and keeping them here, if the intention is to re-release them, particularly after Harlow and the poachers have been dealt with, that is perfectly reasonable from a conservationist standpoint, especially if we're breeding them. Right? That if these are in any way endangered species, if we can captive breed them and then re-release them into the wild, that is a very good conservation technique. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. I still do not remember how to get up here. It's because it's where the heck is it? There's a chest above me up here. I don't remember how to get to it. Ooh, wait. Is it in here in the classroom? I bet it is. Ooh, yeah. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Yeah. Okay. Unidentified. No. What have we here? Possible classroom games. Levitation lesson. Encourage students to levitate blocks through raised hoops or similar. Ooh. Disarm and dodge. Hone expel your arms and reflexes. All right. Targets on a tangent. Back to basics with casting practice on targets enchanted to move quickly. I like it. I like it. Where are we going? Oh. We're getting some lag going on. Ooh. Nice. Nice. A lock. Locks can't stop me. There we go. That's quick.
Revelio.
And I'll say, Dark Tower Cell. Oh, kept a troll here. Jeez. I'll say that, like I said last week, and I forget if this was while I actually had people watching or if it was before the stream went live, unbeknownst to me. But I was talking about that the puzzle design in this game is actually really good. With the exception of the Alohomora little minigame, because that is so simple and, quite frankly, so repetitive that it could well have just been a button press. Mr. Ronan, that's his name.
Professor, do you have time to chat?
I always
love this
have
guy.
time for my students. How may
He's
I
one of my
help you?
favorites.
I wondered if I might ask how long you've been teaching at Hogwarts.
Well, it's been what now? 7 swift years.
Well, that's it.
Time does fly because we have fun. Essential, in my opinion. An eager, positive, and confident mind
His,
is the most open to knowledge, I find.
Clasps.
Some of the
Or
professors
snake
may not agree
motifs.
with your approach.
Is he?
Well,
was he
each of
originally
us has our
Slytherin?
own style, I suppose.
Interesting.
Some in the
if so.
teaching field believe that hard work and dedication are the only keys to success. But they forget what drives those things. If one cannot fathom why some would expend energy on gobstones, then one is blind to the enormous power of play.
And that's why you teach the way you do.
Precisely. I
love that.
strive to be the sort of professor that I would have enjoyed in school. My experience was less cheerful.
Oh. I mean, it did teach him something, though, right? Now, I actually really like this, the whole, like, play to learn thing. I think that is a great technique, and I've even put some thought into designing a class that is basically an ethics class based on playing Dungeons and Dragons, because I've talked about that before too. I've even talked about it in class this semester. Last week, I was talking about a particular experience in a game of D&D in Death House in from Curse of Strahd. Wonderful situation, not a wonderful situation, a horrible situation. But one that provided an excellent ethical thought experiment, a case to analyze, and we talked about it last week. It was great. Excuse me. It was a wonderful set of discussions. It was a lot of fun too. And it's the kind of thing that it has to be fun. In a lot of cases, and kind of like I was saying, that making the information interesting, whether that is through doing it in a fun way like this, or relating it to something that's intriguing. And this kind of also comes back to like my Mean Girls platonic allegory stuff, and why I do well. Now that I think about it, why I do this, right? Why I play video games and talk about philosophy. A lot of that is because I think that, first of all, video games are a really interesting literary form that have a lot to say. That there's a lot to say about them. And that they can deliver really profound stories in a very unique way that involves interacting with the story. But then also, you know what? This is the kind of thing where I think I'm talking about relatively interesting and relatively important topics in a lot of cases, but I'm having fun with it. It's not just classroom lectures that you'll find in this channel. You'll find stuff where I'm sitting here and I'm talking to the camera. You'll find stuff where I'm sitting over in my nice comfy armchair and delivering a lecture, more or less like it's in the classroom. You'll find a couple of back and forth chats with other people. Not too many of those yet. I might pick up on that a bit. You'll find ordinary classroom lectures where I'm doing discussions in the classroom, and then you'll also find a whole host of live streams that are doing this. They're doing precisely this. And so I think that's doing this kind of thing, whether that is this in particular, or bringing academic subjects out into the recreational world, is great. And I think that a lot of that is a lot of why I'm so drawn to that idea is because I do see academia as almost, it's an end good, it's a leisure good, if you will, and it's a luxury good. It's not something that we really do for the sake of anything further. At least not if we're thinking it through carefully. And I talked about this in a recent sort of reaction video I did to talking about education, especially higher education, theory of higher education, and all that. But that I think that education is best thought of as an end good, as a kind of leisure good. It's the same kind of thing as playing a video game, right? Learning about the fundamental nature of reality is meant for merely the betterment of the self, and that's it. And so is recreation. And we have this silly idea that leisure is for the sake of labor, that we relax to recharge our batteries so we can get back to work, which is just silly. No, we work so that we can play. Labor is for the sake of leisure. And leisure should be those things which are edifying, that are good for us, that develop ourselves and our souls. And a lot of that is art, and a lot of that is play, and a lot of that is learning. But it's all those things. So yeah, I like Professor Ronan's approach to the matter, to education.
Perhaps you wouldn't be who you are without that experience.
Had I received a more traditional education, well, enough about my student days. You are here now, and it would be a shame if you didn't enjoy it.
I'll do my best, Professor. Thank you for the advice.
You are most welcome. Try to have a bit of fun today. Huh?
If he is a Slytherin, that's really interesting, because I don't think of Slytherins as being particularly fun-loving. Hufflepuffs, maybe. Gryffindors, certainly. But Ravenclaws and Slytherins, not so much. They don't have a reputation for being wildly fun-loving. But, you know, maybe, you know. All right, let's. I can't mount a broom from this stupid bridge. But I can from that bridge. So let's just go over that bridge. It's ridiculous. Don't know why I can't mount a broom from this bridge. And yet I can from here. Very silly. Oh well. Off we go. Whew! Alright. Oh, wait. Gamekeeper's hut. Can we go in here yet? Oh, we could already go in here.
Revelio.
Huh. Never mind. I thought there was a locked door or something here that we needed to find. Maybe not. Alright, on we go. There is a demiguise statue in Lower Hogsfield.
Seems a pleasant enough little place.
See if we can find it.
Mine now, demiguise.
It's in here somewhere.
It's you. Thank you again for saving me.
Hey, Archie. I'm
I'll
gonna
never forget you.
get rid of this for you. Glad I could help. Now go to bed. It's late. All right, off we go. Into the wild blue yonder. Anyway, so I actually can lay out the... Should I? Actually, you know what? I will. I'll go through the situation from Death House. Now keep in mind this is a little bit spoilery, but I'll try and keep it minimal. So the way I laid this out in class was, albeit I will be honest, a little bit deceptively.
It's not the best place to be.
Go on. Always claiming he knows about.
I already did this, so whatever. I have to go around the mountain. So the way I laid it out was a little bit deceptively. I basically just said, well, this is a fictional scenario, and here is that a griffin? No, they're hippogriffs. Okay. I thought that other one was a proper griffin. Anyway, though. That was distracting. What? So I started off basically with the following rough description. 4 friends and their dog are going to explore a haunted house. Oh, this cave. This cave. This cave. This cave. All right, let's just run on in, shall we?
Accio.
Gonk. So 4 friends and their dog are going to explore a haunted house. Now, naturally, the immediate implication is that I'm done to tell a story from Scooby-Doo. Right, so that sets up certain expectations, right? So, 4 friends and their dog go to explore a haunted house. They encounter a couple of kids outside who need help. There's a monster in the basement. Whee! Whee!
Come here, you.
Donk.
Accio. Pity. Not
Really?
quite. I've been
Oh.
fighting since.
There we go.
Predictable.
Problem solved.
Too late for you to learn the error of your ways.
So yeah, they get they go in to help these kids.
It's dangerous if I'm not careful.
And there we go. They go in to help these kids. They run into some various spooks. Things jump out at them, the usual. A couple of them swear they saw a ghost or two at some point. So eventually they find their way down to the basement where this monster is supposed to be. And in the basement, they come across a large, darkened chamber. This chamber has in its center an altar. What appears to be a sacrificial altar, upon which is a wicked ceremonial dagger. The door is all slam closed. Chants, disembodied chanting, emanates around the room from the house itself. One must die. One must die.
You won't get away with that.
What do they do? Oh, ouchies. Wait, where's my Flipendo? Or my Propulsor? Whee! Splat. Anyway. So what do? These 4 friends and their dog. They've become locked in a bizarre, darkened chamber with a sacrificial altar in the center. The house begins chanting at them, one must die. How do they handle this situation? And so we talked about it, and my different classes came up with different ideas that mostly they settled on try desperately to find a way out. Right? But I laid out, I went through, okay, well, what are our various options? Right? Because there are different ways that you can approach the situation. Clearly, the house wants one of you to sacrifice yourselves.
This will not be another setback like felt. Hold true to our plan.
Leviosa.
A miss. You've been paying attention in defense.
Incendio. Protego. Stupid one.
You say select one of the chanters. The problem with that is there are no chanters. It is, as I mentioned, disembodied chanting. The chanting is simply emanating from the house. Good thought, though. Good thought, no thanks. Nobody actually brought that up. They did think of, well, let's search around the room to see if there's any like rats scurrying around or anything like that that maybe we could choose to sacrifice instead of one of us. Okay, maybe a good idea. Maybe it's worth considering. Select the house. Oh, kill the house. That's actually a decent idea. Nobody really tried. Nobody thought to try that. It's beautiful, and it's not snowing down here. That's really weird. I thought coming down here in winter I would have this area in nice snow dust, but it's not really. Oh, well, some of it is down there. Some of it. How much, though? It's weird. It's almost disappointing.
Revelio.
Right there it is. An antique compass. A muggle compass. Interesting. So basically the options turned out to be something along the lines of, do we do what the house wants? Someone could volunteer as a sacrifice to allow their other 3 friends and their dog to live. The 3 friends could choose to sacrifice their dog, which is a very real option, which may work. They don't know if it'll work, not for sure, but reasonably it could. They could just kill the dog. right? Which is almost certainly better than one of them dying.
That's the student who would... That's the student who stopped us at Felstrom.
Imperial.
Flap.
I will make you. Over here. Crucial. Your blood's on Ranrock's hands.
So they could kill one of the four of them. You can kill the dog. You can presumably try and find some way to escape, like try and reopen the doors, try and find an additional way out or something like that. Which incidentally is usually, because this is D&D scenario, that's usually what most people will try and do. We'll try and find a way out, because that's the first instinct is for a D&D party is find something to fight or find a puzzle to solve. Right? One or the other, or both. Let's do this. Do these balloons. Who says one must die? These guys? They're disembodied. What are they going to do? Call their bluff. Yeah, good point. Good point. That is another option. You can just say, well, what are you going to do? Just wait it out. What are you going to do about it? You going to make me? Okay. Well, funny you should say that. Because that is one thing that you can do. You can lollygag. You can try and find a way out. You can do all these sorts of things that involve not immediately choosing to sacrifice somebody. Because then if you choose not to sacrifice anyone, Delia, someone's been tampering with my belongings. It started with small pranks, blah, 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 blah. Clearly the intentions of my tormentor are far more sinister than I had originally assumed. I must now have the ministry inspect my house for jinxes, which they may take several days. I should be displaced for a while. When I stay with you, it will be just me and my trusty cauldron, Hubert. So I'm not sure, is this Hubert, or is this Hubert's... Ooh, that is an interesting cauldron. Is this Hubert's house that he left and then somebody intruded and then exploded? I'm not actually sure. It's an interesting question. Oh well, anyway, moving on. Whoop. Guess we'll never know. This, by the way, is that whole other area on the other side of that cave I was talking about. So here we are. Eventually someone will die anyway. That is true of, hunger. I would say thirst, but no. I failed to mention there's water in this chamber. Most of the floor of this chamber is a couple of feet of water. Hey, look, another spider cave. Hop, hop. Oh no, this is just extreme danger. It doesn't say spiders. Just regular danger. Okay. So if they decide to either wait it out or try and find an escape route before they manage to get any doors open or anything like that.
Bombarda! A blockade. Rookwood's poachers are already here.
Out from one of the darkened corners begins to crawl and slither a mass of flesh and bone, taking in the shape of a great mound with mouths and mouths filled with teeth made of shattered bones.
Incendio.
The horrid creature begins to
Bombarda.
creep slowly and then more quickly towards the four and their unfortunate dog. And so you see now that there is a real, very, very serious problem. Which way am I supposed to go so I know which way to go first? Because you always go the wrong way first, right? I'm going to go down first. Instincts tell me. Also, yes, a couple of feet of water, you can get cold pretty quickly. Absolutely right.
Could the phoenix be in there?
There seem to be dead spiders.
Incendio! Confringo!
Done.
Not my fault you're a deadly great spider.
Yeah. By the way, monster. Exactly. Yeah, basically the monster that the kids warned about shows up. And it begins to attempt to enforce the one must die. In fact, it will begin to enforce the as many people as it can consume will die, taking a sacrifice, whether willingly or unwillingly. Okay, and then so this is actually what happened in our version of the game. They did flee. They ran. They ran away from this horrific creature. Managed to open a secret an escape route. And managed to get away from the thing. But it was in hot pursuit. It was chasing after them. Obviously, attempting to eat them.
Right. Mark my words.
Imperio!
Better be a beast.
Confringos!
Flop.
Something's wrong. What would you be needing a hippogriff for, anyhow? I know you're there.
Alright, cool.
The beasts around here can sleep a bit easier now.
Don't need more of those. Don't need more of those. There we go.
Incendio!
Oh, money was in the bag. That's what that was. Yeah, the monster begins to attack, and they flee. They run away, trying to escape this monster, trying to get back out of the basement and out of the house. They get nearly to the entrance to the basement, or the exit to the basement. They nearly get to the way back, but the monster is very hot on their heels, and it does not look like they're going to escape. 2 of the 4 friends manage to find their way up the stairs, but the 3rd and the 4th are still lagging behind, dangerously close, with the dog hot on their heels, yipping and terrified, staying very very close to his dear human friends, humanoid friends. This is D&D, so not all humans. The 2 lagging behind are naturally a dwarf who has less movement speed, and a tiefling who is a cleric. So yeah, there's this issue that now. Oh, geez. Why is there a rotating spider? I don't think I like that.
Confringo! Confringo!
There's a rotating spider. Not a fan. Anyway. A nightcap. So, the 2, the cleric, the dwarf, and the dog, are lagging behind. It does not look like they're going to be able to get to the exit before the monster catches them. Now, it's possible they might make it, but it isn't looking good at all. They are in a really bad spot. So, what do they do? What any of them do?
Imperio!
I sense it.
Incendio!
I shall get that goblin helm back. Hopefully from your corpse.
Benzo. I got a gate key. Nice. I couldn't have just Imperioed him to give it to me? That seems silly. But oh well, it's fine. Took care of it anyway. I guess I had to kill him. Thanks says, in the D&D encounter, it is supposed to be balanced to the group. So it's unwise to flee in most cases. Oh, no. This is very much signposted as run away. This is not balanced. It is very intentionally, very deliberately not balanced. If you are even in the least bit playing with an awareness of game design, which maybe you're not. Maybe you just have an adventurer's mindset of we can kill anything that we come across, which is honestly that's poor DMing. If the players are expected to be able to kill everything that they find, that's poor game design on the DM's part, or on the module's part, frankly, but mostly on the DM's part. That indicates a sort of weirdly unrealistic, non-living world. Encounters can be as hard or difficult as the DM wants. That is true. Again, like I said, if you're designing a game well, you're going to have encounters that are trivially easy, and that are significantly more of a challenge, maybe too much of a challenge. So fleeing does become a good idea, and so judging that becomes part of the game, just like it would be, a real adventure.
It almost seems as if it wants me to follow it.
Well, let's see if I
can. All the poachers do.
Let's see if I can follow it. Shall I? I should not jump down there. I will die. Where the heck? It said it wants me to follow it, but how? Do I go up? In the opposite direction? I guess. So come here.
Accio, incendio.
Get out of here. Oh,
it's shameful what you've done to helpless beasts.
Wreck them. But yeah, it's level 3 lock. Are you serious? I'm gonna have to come back here at some point. Irritating. I can't power slide. I can't just like be cool,
There it is again.
Where? I didn't even see it. I didn't even see it. Anyway. But yeah, it is very clearly like laid out as a this is deadly. Don't fight this thing. If you do, it will probably go very poorly for you, and so you should definitely not try. Right? It's pretty well telegraphed. But even that aside, from an in-character standpoint, you came into this as level 1 adventurers, by which I mean like normal dudes. You're not, at least not generally, entering into the module as like seasoned warriors, that kind of thing. And so it makes sense to run away from the giant scary monster. Right, so, make the choice of the slowest man dies. Yeah, fair enough. So allow the dwarf to die. That's definitely a possibility. Or the cleric can make a particular choice, which is to kick the dog and shove the dog back into the gaping maws of the creature, in the hopes that, I mean, you're level 2 by this point, but still, it's very low. If you're looking at it, if you're curious, don't pay attention to this if you're actually going to play Curse of Strahd, which I recommend. It's a reskin. It's a pretty heavily reskinned Shambling Mound, which is like a CR 4 or something. Ow, jeez. Oh, jeez, that's really bad. Ow! Please don't. Really? Get dead. Good lord. That was not fun. It didn't go well. It might be 5. Yeah, it might be a CR5. Which yeah, if you're level 2 at this point, fighting a CR5 is a deadly encounter. Especially given that most of the arena is difficult terrain for you and not for it. Things like that. So, yeah, it's kind of nasty.
Well, if it isn't the little hippogriff thief.
Protego, stupefy. Bombarda. Crucial.
Let me curse everybody real quick.
You can't one of my own. You will fall.
As the view.
Confringo. As if you could elude me.
What have you done? No.
Boom!
That was for Highwing. The beasts are safer now.
Oh yeah, also I should mention that's a good point, Erica. That it is not the only encounter of the day. This is after you are probably pretty close to out of resources. You've probably gone through most of an adventuring day before this, and likely do not have a chance to long rest in the haunted house.
Bombarda.
So it's you're gonna be pretty tapped out by the time you get to this.
Incendio.
Now I played another game that we got to this, and we did actually fight it and beat it. But we were a party of 6, I think. Yeah, I think it was a party of 6. Which, if you got 6 players, if you got 6-player characters, there's a lot that you can fight. You punch way over your challenge rating. Yeah, I mean, it's not Scooby. That is true. Yeah, I mean, kill the dog. It might work, and if it works, then that's better than a player character dying, or like, you know, better than a human dying, or humanoid, I suppose I'd say. Did I get that already? Yeah, I did. Let's get out of here. But that's what she did, right? She chose to trip the dog, throw the dog into the path of the thing, hoping that it would slow down long enough to consume your poor, screaming, whimpering dog friend, while you manage to make it out. But does a dog count? Well, yes, it would have if you had actually sacrificed it on the altar. But just throwing it to the monster, apparently, doesn't work sufficiently. All that does is slow the thing down.
Hello. I'm here to help.
Hey, come here.
Somewhere safe.
Schloop!
Let's get you back to the room. Deke's going to...
So, the dog would have worked on the altar. But if you just throw it to the monster, that does not quite count as a sacrifice. It does slow the thing down, and they get much closer to the exit, but it is still, this thing still only took a few moments, basically a combat round, to slow down to eat your dog. And so it's still hot on their heels, and the two of them are very close to the exit, and it's very, very close. It's very, very difficult. This is a major spoiler, so don't listen if, for like the next 5-6 minutes, I guess, I don't know. If you're really committed to not being spoiled on this module. Oh, this is more spiders, isn't it? Oh, it's a much higher level Acromantula too, isn't it? Oh, I hate this. Crucio. That didn't do anything.
Defender. Levioso. Incendio. Confringo.
Okay, there we go. Jesus.
Cursed fiends.
That's a big ass spider. All right. By the way, I think that's the only one that you actually have to fight, as far as the actual main story goes. The other two that we've fought have been side quests.
Confringo.
But there were 2 other Acromantulas that we fought. And I'll also say, this one is just out in the middle of nowhere. Like, what's the deal? There's an acromantula just sort of here. Just sort of chilling, you know? What is this? Oh, God. This has got to be a troll, isn't it? Yeah, it's a troll.
Glacius. Expelliarmus.
That didn't help. Deer, move!
Protego.
Boom. Yeah. So yeah, one of them dying in combat, also, you're right, does not count. But, so they're trying to escape. They're very close. They might make it. They might not. So the question is, so right near the exit, right near, on the way out. They're very near the way out of the basement. There is this strange, glowing orb.
Glacius. Protego. You had me there.
You're that hippogriff thief.
Incendio.
You're that goblin helm you pilfered. I want that back now.
Incendio. Cut. Protego. Stupid. Glacius. Stupefy. One less poacher in the wizarding world.
So they're very, very close, and there's this strange glowing orb right near the exit. What do you do with it? Do you touch it? Do you pick it up? Throw it at the creature? At the monster? At the flesh round? Do you simply ignore it and run on by? No. Yeah, it does seem litigious. Don't sacrifice anything and run out. I mean, you could just try and, like, maybe hold up this magical orb and hope that it's going to fend the creature off. Maybe it's something. Maybe there is a chance that it will do something. Maybe it will help. Maybe it will make things worse. The point is, you're in a very bad situation, and so it seems like things can only get better, right? So maybe, or maybe not, but maybe touch the thing, pick it up, see what it might do, wave it around as if it is magic, because it probably is. Or maybe it's just a lighting fixture, who knows? The only thing that you have to lose is your object interaction, which is basically a free action in terms of game mechanics. It doesn't actually hurt anything unless it does something terrible. I mean, the fact that the storyteller / DM wants somebody to do it is, I mean, that should be kind of troubling, honestly. That should cause a little bit of hesitation. Because if I, as the DM, am going, hey, touch it. Bet you won't touch the thing. You should touch the thing. Bet you're gonna touch the thing. Don't touch it. Do not touch the thing. That's such a bad idea at that point. I'm trying to tempt you into doing something that may be either a really bad idea or at least an interesting idea.
Bombarda.
That's not the right spell. There we go. That's better. Now I need Bombarda. There we go. Okay. So yeah, you can
Incendio.
You can touch the thing or you can not touch the thing. The same thing happens in Narnia? Yeah, that's true. Yeah, actually, yeah, that's a good comparison, actually. It's an interesting point.
Accio. Wingardium Leviosa.
Yeah, touch the thing, don't touch the thing. It's... Yeah, good comparison. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's not exactly easy to tell what you should do. So I'll just let you know exactly what happened. The cleric decided, you know what? Things can't get much worse. So she picked it up. Things immediately got a lot worse because immediately upon picking up the strange orb,
Levioso.
A bunch of shadows summoned, or spawned, more or less. The ghosts that were haunting the house, basically. All just sort of popped into existence, surrounding them. Now, she managed to just barely get out, because he, the dwarven fighter, was holding them off, was in the middle of them all, and basically shouted to go, and I'll be right behind you. Now, if any heroic character shouts, "Go, I'll be right behind you," surrounded by bad guys, don't believe them. Do not believe them. It's not true. They will not be right behind you. They're going to die, and they know it.
Wingardium Leviosa. Accio. Accio.
Oh, come on, come on, come on. There we go. What's down there? There's something down there. I need to drop down for it.
Shame I didn't have an audience for that one.
So it summons a bunch of shadows, and unfortunately, they prevent Bronson, the wonderful dwarven fighter. They prevent him from escaping. And he is killed. Horribly. By this mass of shadows. And the cleric is still, to this time, which is now quite a long time later, it's been a while since this happened, the cleric is still the only character who knows that she is directly responsible for Bronson's death. Or even what happened down there with the shadows, because the other two party members were already out. Now, worth noting, Bronson was an NPC. I didn't bring this up in class. But Bronson was an NPC. And so there wasn't the whole like loss of a player character in the introductory adventure kind of thing to deal with. Which, you know what? All right, that makes it a little better. Not much better, but a little better. Check our map. See where we're going now. Ooh, we need to unlock that. Yeah, we need to unlock some of these. Tomb of Treachery? What is the Tomb of Treachery? Oh man, we're gonna have to come back to that, aren't we? We're not gonna do that yet. There's a bunch of stuff to do down here, though. We're gonna have to. But it's okay, we'll come back, because let's go to Hogwarts map. Go to the Room of Requirement. Anyway, yes, it's a wonderful, enjoyable story. It's a hell of a lot of fun, to be fair. It's great. It's a great time. Because it's a great dungeon. It's a great little mini adventure as an introduction to Curse of Strahd. It's great. And I will say, Erica ran it. She does semi-professional paid DMing for what we're doing right now.
And I rescued it from the poachers.
She does a fantastic job at it.
It's safe.
She's now run Curse of Strahd.
What are you
This is her
waiting
second
for?
time running it, and
Deep
third time
cannot
playing
wait
it,
to.
so she knows what she's doing. That is a little bit of a sales pitch, by the way. Let her know in Discord if you're interested. She might have time for another game coming up soonish. Good heaven.
What a beauty. You keep it close.
Okay. You know, I will. Cool. I'm gonna bring most of my flying creatures in here with it.
Professor Weasley and Deke were right to tell you about the Room of Requirement. Look at all you've done, and how many beasts you've rescued. A phoenix is safe now, because of you.
I couldn't have done it without your help, Deke.
Anyway, so we in class we went through the sort of the ethical implications of making a decision like this.
Also grateful to have been of assistance to
One of
someone
the most interesting things about it is
good for so many beasts has given Deke a sense of
the decision to grab the orb.
Deke will always
The
be
Talow's
here for you
decision,
when you
Cleric,
need
her
him.
decision to grab the orb. I won't use character names. That's just I'll use character names rather than player names because that using player names is just uncouth. You don't do that. But Tallow, her decision to grab the orb because, well, what else are you going to do? It seems to be an almost unwinnable situation. Not quite unwinnable. It is a dire circumstance, but not a necessarily unwinnable circumstance. It's one where things are going badly, but you never know. Things could still turn out fine. Basically, the situation is bad, and what you're doing is you are choosing to do something, not knowing what the consequences will be. In other words, touch the orb in the hopes that something will happen, and in the further hopes that that something will be something positive. But because you don't know what's going to happen, you're essentially gambling. The end of your action is unknown, in other words. And because the end of your action is unknown, that means that your action has a kind of has an odd character to it. Oh, you're already eating. Okay, cool. Eat. It's because the end of your action is something unknown. There's this interesting thing where your action is of indeterminate character. It's basically the impulse to, in the face of a crisis, to do something. And by something, I mean anything. To do something with an unknown outcome is to it is to act to, I don't know, roll the dice is one way of thinking about it, right? You're acting in such a way that you do not know what the outcome is going to be, and so you don't know exactly what the outcome, you don't know what you're aiming towards. All you're aiming is away from the present circumstance. It's the emergency panic. It is the panicked response. Now, the trouble with this should be obvious. First of all, the immediate danger of doing so, like the obvious, like the actual danger of doing so. Let's bring the whoopers, right? Yeah, let's bring the foopers. Let's bring the jabberdolls.
I'll look after you.
Yeah, in real life, don't do that. Well, people do it all the time. That's part of the problem, though, right? It's very unfortunate, but people do this kind of thing all the time. People are almost constantly facing a crisis and going, well, we have to do something. Think about, for instance, COVID. The response to COVID on the part of almost every professional was, we have to do something. Now, we're going to try these various untested and, quite honestly, obviously, these, well, let's say, probably detrimental. Here, have some yum yums. No, you already got some yum yums. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. Don't run away. Here, have some yum yums. I'm sorry, little puffskins. But the grab the random orb is basically a perfect representation of the impulse to just do something, regardless of what you would be doing. The impulse is, well, we've got to do something, so we might as well do something. It's better than doing nothing, but that's not always the case, right? It's not always better to do something than to do nothing. That was, in fact, the case. That's how it turned out with respect to most of the COVID response. Most of the COVID response would have been better. It would have been far better to do nothing, right? Because it was... how do I put this?
There. I'm not going to hurt you.
What it turned out that everybody did was turned out to be wildly counterproductive. And yeah, that could have been anticipated, but it doesn't need to be anticipated because it was this same kind of decision making. It was, well, let's try social distancing and isolation and contact tracing and cloth mask wearing and all of these things that had a proven track record of having no proven track record, for instance. Where essentially there was no historical or scientific reason to think that any of this stuff would actually work, aside from, it seems right. Let's go for it. You know what? There's a weird shiny orb here, and let's poke it and hope for the best. That's essentially what was going on with respect to COVID. Find the strange orb and hope that poking it is going to do more good than harm. Now, of course, under both circumstances, it turned out that the opposite was the case. But even if it had turned out that something helped, that grabbing the orb was, the orb was capable of holding back or driving away, or even just immediately destroying the mound, the flesh mound, the fleshy mound, if you will. That is an undue risk, and doing so was still irresponsible, right? Especially in this case, where Tallow was not just gambling with her own life, but was gambling with Bronson's life as well, and Bronson lost his life as a result. That it didn't just work out poorly for Tallow, who made the decision. It worked out poorly for someone else, right? For in this case, for Bronson. Hey, I'm gonna sell this one. Oop. I'm gonna sell the baby toad, the baby giant purple toad.
Professor Howard will never believe this.
I'm gonna breed. What should I breed? Nothing yet. I'm not gonna bother just yet. Oh yeah, that's actually also important. Erica pointed this out. This is very important as well. They saw the orb and passed it by before continuing to explore. So they could have messed with it beforehand. Yes, that's very true. We saw it, and we decided as a group that we would not mess with the thing. So, whoops. So then, of course, Tallow decides on her own unilaterally that she is going to mess with the thing, which was a very spontaneous decision, let's say. Let's do... Where's conjuration? There we go. Beast. Eater. Right there. And then breeding pen. Let's put this over here. There. That'll do. Cool. Wait a minute, come back! Come back, Mr. Phoenix. Baby Flipper. Where's my Phoenix? Where's my Phoenix? Like, genuinely. Oh, there you are. There you are. Get back here. Get back here. Please. Please. Wait. Where are you? Where'd you go? What? I need your feathers. There you are. Get over here, Phoenix. Stop this. Please stop this. Why are you running? There we go. God, okay. Alright, now let's get out of here. But yeah, so basically, yes, the whole module is Death House. That is basically an introductory module to Curse of Strahd. It's the whole purpose of it is to introduce you to the tone, introduce you to the setting, get you to level 3, and then potentially some various rewards and things. The rewards are honestly not that much. You don't find too many very useful magic items or even equipment items. Not really. So, It is limited. Okay. Let's see. Okay, I can do that. Nice. Nice. Fully upgraded. What about this one? Yeah. Nice. Fully upgraded. Everything is fully upgraded. Yeah! Got a good equipment set. I mean, feel free to have conversations in the chat, and if I need to interact with something, go ahead and let me know. Honestly, Erica knows more about Curse of Strahd than I do. I ran it once, but I ran it once, but I also did not run Death House, and I ran it very, very different from rules as written. So, you know, it's not like I'm particularly an expert on it. She knows her stuff. She absolutely knows her stuff. Oh, what's this? What is that? The unique unicorn. Let's do that. Anyway, so yeah, it's basically a little introductory module into Curse of Strahd that really does set the tone. Boy, howdy, does it set the tone of, you know, Death House. The name is appropriate, is apropos. Apropos is the term.
Come in. Sorry if there's a smell. New batch of toad-hide.
Now, speaking of toads, here you are. Have a toad. Enjoy your toad. You don't have grapphorn horns, do you? No, you don't. Okay.
I'll not mind seeing you here again. Consider yourself welcome.
So yeah, it does go through with the same characters. You're meant to carry through the same characters, but there is, of course, you know, there's the expectation of a character dying, so having backup characters and having a way to bring them in and all that. A lot of that is up to the DM and how they bring it. Where is your head?
But would you mind helping out an old woman?
I'm gonna just let you finish rendering for a second. You're not gonna finish rendering, are you?
Is everything all right?
Oh, bless you.
Oh, it's not, apparently.
Asking. I'm Betty. Betty Bugbrook. And no, everything is not. It's my dear friend Hazel. She's in trouble.
Where did you go?
Yes.
It'll be fine.
She's a unicorn. Known her for years. She doesn't like to leave the forest, so I visit her once a week to brush out her mane.
That's cute.
Bring her some treats. Her coat is glorious. Well, the last time I saw her, we were violently attacked by a pack of wolves. Hazel, loyal friend that she is.
Yeah, I mean, there is a glowing orb. That is at least some incentive to touch it, in the case that you might, you know, pick it up and use it later if it is a useful magic item. I think rules as written, it's not actually a magic item. That's it.
I know you Hogwarts students learn a fair bit about caring for beasts. Perhaps you could
I know you can interpret it as a
so that she can heal.
spellcasting focus. I've even heard of some people interpreting it as a drift globe, which is a common magic item. Something like that. But yeah, we'll see if we can find this unicorn. Why not?
Friend and take her to safety if I see her.
Oh, you've a good soul.
But yeah, it's
I can always tell.
It's a bit. Yeah, it is a bit of a temptation, but of course it is. Every treasure, every dungeon has those little loot traps. That's the idea behind mimics, right?
North of Hogsmeade. And although I haven't been able to brush her lately, I imagine she's
Yeah, I mean, if a mimic takes the form of a chest, a treasure chest, and so, you know, adventurers are going to open a treasure chest, and then it's going to try and eat you. So, you know, it makes sense. It fits. It's the same kind of loot trap kind of thing, you know. Let's see what this is. Professor Weasley. Deke tells me he shared with you his experience with the Phoenix. Check in with him next time you get the chance. He has an idea. Oh, I already did that. Okay, fine. Sebastian. Oh, 2 letters from Sebastian. Jeez. I shouldn't have reacted so bitterly about your goblin friend. I apologize. I hope we can finish what we started with the triptych. Please meet me at the southern coast. You can search for the final canvas piece. The relic is the key to saving Anne. I know it. Meet me outside of Feldcroft as soon as you can. Which one do I do first? Either way, they're both going to be next week, because we only have 20 minutes. don't have time for both of them. But, you know, I'm going to just sell all of this. Literally all of it. So I'm not even going to go through it. Not a one-handle, obviously. But I'm just going to sell all this gear. I'm going to go sell it. Unique Unicorn. Yeah, I guess we'll do that one. Then we'll do the Imelda Ray's thing down the coast. Sebastian in outside Feldcroft. Yeah, we'll do. Well, again, we got a lot to do. We'll probably do the unicorn tonight. Actually, you know what? I might actually call it early in just a few minutes. We'll see. I'm gonna sell stuff off and see how long stuff takes. See how long our conversation continues as well. Cause,
I need to look for a unicorn with a beautifully bright coat.
Yeah.
It sounds as if she's in trouble.
Plenty for your perusal today. Take your time.
Maybe I shouldn't have sold that one. Oh well, too late. But yeah, it's one of those where it provides us with a really great thought experiment, basically. Issues to consider from a sophisticated ethical standpoint that illustrate the kind of decisions that we make not just in a game of Dungeons and Dragons, but in real life too, because we will find that we might face a crisis, come across a difficult situation and think, well, we have to do something, and so we make the decision, the perhaps poor decision, to just, do something, even if that something is turns out to be a really bad, dangerous, or unethical idea.
I suspect you have a sharp eye for fashion. Be sure to
one that really, one comparison bit that really just knocked my students one was, well, it's getting very close to the end of the semester and my grade isn't looking so good, so I have to do something. So, I mean, guys. Oh, look at that. How did I not see this?
Glad Clementine's finally lost her obsession with those infernal bucket.
Anyway. So yeah, it's the do something about one's grade could be any kind of bad decision. It could be out of desperation cheating. It could be trying to, hack into the school's computer system and change your grade. It could be all manner of things, right? It could be desperately begging the professor for extra credit, even where none is offered, and thereby cementing your horrifically bad reputation as a last minute student, or whatever else, right? All kinds of things like this could be just about anything. There are all manner of bad ideas that you might have out of desperation like those. So it does illustrate, right? This wacky D&D thought experiment does, I think, illustrate a way of thinking that can lead to real world unethical decision making in the real lives of all of us, actual real ordinary non-adventurer type people. But yeah, it's neat. That is true. Also, having a red shirt character does provide an easy sacrificial victim, if not a literal sacrificial victim. A heroic last stand type, and he was even presented as the heroic last stand type. He was a dwarven fighter, very much with that kind of heroic last stand kind of personality and everything. Are you Hazel? Yes, you're Hazel. Come back here.
Come on, Hazel.
Oh, not what I meant.
Levioso.
Come here, Hazel. Yay! Got you.
I can take Hazel back to a vivarium now. I should let Madame Budbrook know she's safe. Levioso.
Another one. Yes, the cleric did both, not kick the dog, she telekinetically shoved the dog because she had the telekinetic feet. But essentially she threw the dog into the monster. So yes, it was her who did both things. Is that what you were asking, I assume? Now, that's the thing, is that the CR needs to be higher. Right? The CR needs to be sufficient that you're not going to... You're going to have to get away from the thing. You're going to have to run. Yeah, like Erica said, Death House is supposed to be deadly. The NPC was there, like you said, primarily to balance out the party. Which, I'll be honest, at low levels especially, was absolutely necessary. Yes, I did.
Madam Bugbrook, I found your unicorn friend Hazel.
Oh, what a relief! Is she all right?
She picked up the dog, went back and threw it at the monster. Yeah, pretty much.
A safe place for her to stay.
It was horrifying, honestly. Really, really horrifying. Yeah.
We're both fine, and I can keep her safe, I promise. But I wonder if you can help me with the costs of caring for her.
Which are 0, but whatever.
I'm so relieved. And of course, it's worth almost any amount of galleons to make sure my dear girl is cared for. Take
Yeah.
good care
It
of
did
Hazel
genuinely
now.
help the party get away. Party was going to make it out, but it would have been close, and she was still genuinely scared. And so she did the whole touch the orb thing. Mathematically, the party would have made it. Bronson, the NPC, would have survived had she not touched the orb, but she couldn't know that with certainty. So, take the risk, go for it, try it, see what happens. Just turned out poorly. And so she really, like, in retrospect, in hindsight, she definitely shouldn't have done it. In the moment, she should have known better. Because it was the whole, again, it's the whole do something thing. I'm not sure what, but do at least something and hope for the best. That's full of ethical issues, especially when you're gambling with somebody else's life. Yeah, also the dog was there as a... You actually encounter the dog. You encounter the dog in the... in Death House. Basically, like Erica said, it's there to tempt the PCs to, kill the dog.
Bombada.
To do a nasty thing to a poor innocent creature. I will say as well, that I like to emphasize that I don't come up with ethical thought experiments, typically, that are not from either real life or from a fictional story that is not made for a thought experiment. Right? So I will use thought experiments. I'll use real situations or relatively close to real situations for my ethical thought experiments, because that gives them more granular detail, and it gives them more complexity to sort through, rather than these nice, clean, but also unrealistically weird thought experiments like trolley problems and whatnot. So like I said, I do think that it could, of course, be simplified further, right, to make the ethical situation clearer. But that's not the point, I don't think. Right?
Sometimes it seems
typically, when I do thought experiments in class, I use real life situations, and that's also what I encourage students to do as well, is to come up with actual situations to test ideas, rather than to come up with odd hypotheticals that don't actually illustrate anything too well, because they're extracted away from any level of detail. And I draw this mode, right? This mode of approaching thought experiments from what's his first name? Ralph McInerney. who is the author of the primary textbook I use. And the reason he decries things like thought experiments and lifeboat scenarios and that sort of thing is because they are they're poor representations of what ethics really looks like. Ethics really looks like making decisions in real life. And real life doesn't look like lifeboat scenarios. It doesn't look like trolley problems. It looks like something bad is about to happen and you have the option to do something and you don't know what the outcome will be. Do you do it? And yeah, real life does really look like that. Right? We often will face a crisis and we'll be presented with the option to try and do something, but not with enough information to make the decision. And so we have the option, we have the possibility of just acting on insufficient information like this. And so we shouldn't do that, right? That is far more dangerous than simply doing nothing. And we should be able to recognize that, right? We should be able to recognize that when given the option to do something, I know not what, you shouldn't.
Revelio.
So again, I think that's frogs. Oh, the Merlin Trail. Yeah, I'll go do the Merlin Trail and then we'll call it. No, I can't. Why can't I mount? Ow. Wait, I didn't take fall damage from that? That's wacky. But I would.
Could it be a Merlin trial?
Where are the rest of them? Oh, there. There's one more. Where is it? Where's the last one? Oh, it's down there. Very far.
Merlin himself would be proud.
There we go. But yeah. Anyway, like I said, that's kind of why I do thought experiments that are drawn from either real life or from literature or from fiction or from history or from the news or that kind of thing. It's because they're not designed as ethical thought experiments, and so they're messy, they're complicated, but that also means they're real. They have granular levels of detail like reality. And there's something very interesting about that, and there's something more worth considering about situations like that. Yeah, that's actually a good question for Erica, right? That so replacing the NPC for party balance. No, actually. Primarily there because Death House is followed by a fair amount of significantly less combat and more avoidable combat. Right, a lot of the combat in the early parts of the module after Death House are very avoidable, which with an unbalanced party like we wind up having, you need to avoid it. You need to avoid a lot of the combat, and then eventually you get allies. Right, you get a fated ally who is sort of an NPC whose job it is to help you to a significant degree. Come on, chase it. Can I keep up with the train? Oh no, I am slightly slower than the train. Ah, I can't land on it either. Alright, fine. Darn. That'd have been really cool if I could catch up with the train. Oh well. Oh well. Anyway. You do get allies, like I said. You also, once you level up a little bit, your build comes online. And as your build comes online, Sky Scythe. I'll grab it. As your build comes online, you're more able to actually do some stuff, right? Because Bronson was specifically, our party in particular, Bronson was a fighter, and so he was our primary tank. I was playing a Hex Bard, so a 1-level dip Hexblade Warlock plus Swords Bard, College of Swords Bard. Which, right off the bat, is rough. Really rough. It takes several levels to actually come online, so the build doesn't actually come online until at least level 4, realistically more like level 6 or 7. Actually, no, more like level 7, where you finally get multi-attack. But then once you hit level 7 or so, once you hit level 6, level 7, something in that range, suddenly you become an incredible tank. Your AC can skyrocket, you have massive survivability, and you can dish out pretty good damage. Good melee damage. Plus with, Eldritch Blast and stuff. And so eventually, that's the thing, is that with D&D, the low tier play, levels 1 through 3, maybe into 4, is incredibly deadly, and it really relies on just brute numbers, brute force. You have and just desperate survivability. Whereas once you get into the a little bit higher levels, into the mid tier, like 5 through 10. Oh no, we're currently level 7. We are level 7 or 8. We're not level 8, are we? I think we're level 7. 7 or 8. We made it that far, by the way. We're probably about, honestly, halfway through the module, give or take. And we've had some very close calls, but no other player character deaths. No actual player character deaths. Again, through a lot of dumb luck, luck of very good rolls in a lot of cases, and some pretty good tactical planning, I will say. Now we're in the more survivable stages until we start coming into those high CR encounters that can pretty easily party wipe, but you know how it goes. Anyway, I think I am going to wrap it there. This is a good talk. Are you in I don't know, no thanks. Are you in the Discord? If not, join me in the Discord right down below, and we can keep chatting about this in gaming, in the gaming channel. It's a great discussion. I'm really enjoying it. But it is getting late, and I do a class in the morning. The last proper class of the semester. So anyway, that's all I got for tonight. Running out of time. We're going to wrap it up here. And I will see you guys again next week. I will let you all know in advance, of course, but I'm planning on streaming Monday, not Wednesday, as I have been last week. As I have been the last couple of weeks. Going back to Monday next week, primarily because I got exams next week, and my exam scheduled on Thursday, is very, very early in the morning. So I'm gonna have to go tuck in early on Wednesday night, I think. So that's the plan for now. That may change. Who knows? I'll have to let you guys know, but that's the plan. If you haven't, I actually rejoined Twitter. If you haven't found this out, so go ahead and follow me over there at Prof McCoy on Twitter. I tweet, I guess. I don't know if I like it or not yet. I don't think so. I hate the format still, but yeah, but it's fun enough. I can bully federal agencies and stuff, so that's cool, at least. Anyway, thank you all for joining me. I had a good time. I hope you did too. Have a wonderful evening. And remember, don't be safe, be well, and more importantly, be good.